Welcome to today's Codealong, where we are going to use TinkerCad Blocks to create a fidget spinner. It's a lovely, simple project using block coding in TinkerCad to create that 3D design. Let's get started. On your TinkerCad screen, we are going to create a new code project using Code Blocks. So the concept of our fidget spinner is that it's a print in place project. Although we've got two parts that are moving, they're going to be printed as one piece. So this looks like creating an outside cylinder that we are going to hollow out the inside of. And then we're going to make a matching shape on the inside that matches that hollow. That is slightly smaller, so that you've got two pieces that will move with each other. So the hollow cutout you can see on your screen here. The orange is that outside cylinder shape. The purple is the inside piece. So you imagine you hold the purple bit and you're going to spin the orange bit on the outside. That shape on the inside is made by taking two cones, inverting one on top of the other and joining them in the middle by another cylinder. To start off our project, we are going to add in a cylinder block and expand out the menu. It's important that we acknowledge that the solid is highlighted here because it is a solid shape. So the radius of our cylinder is going to be 13 and a height of 28. I'm going to change the sides from 48 to 64. This is just going to give us a much smoother finish, and we leave the rest the same. We now are going to go from the modify menu and place a move block in. So we're going to say exactly where on our plane we want to place this. We're going to go at X or Y coordinates of 0, but at Z it's going to be 14. So if I press the play button now, I can see that my beginning shape has been built here, which is exactly how I wanted to start. Now we're going to create that hole in the middle. We're going to do that by creating a shape with two cones inverted and a cylinder to join them on the inside. We're going to go back to our shapes and grab our first cone shape and expand it out. Now in this one, we need to select creating a hole. Remember, this is the hole on the inside of our cylinder here. Down the bottom, our radius, we're going to put a radius of 6 for the bottom of the cylinder. The top radius is going to be 10. The height is going to be 12, and the sides are 64. Let's add in a move position. I'm going to put this at X and Y are at 0 and Z is at 6, so placing it down the bottom of our shape. Sitting on top of the cone, we are going to put a cylinder. Again, acknowledging that this is a hole, so click on the hole. Our cylinder to match what we've got. We've got a radius of 6. We've got a height of 5, so quite a small cylinder, not very tall. We've got 64 sides to it, and the rest remains the same. Let's now place that into position. Still X and Y are at 0, but Z is at 14. Now that we've got our bottom cone, we've got our cylinder that's going to join in the middle, we need a cone to go on the top. Once again, acknowledging that it's creating a hole in the middle of our fidget spinner. This time our top radius is going to be 10. Our bottom radius is going to be 6. Our height is 12 and our sides are 64. You can see that's exact same measurements at the other cylinder, except we have inverted it. Let's now plop in its position on the board. So we want Z to be at 22. The final thing we're going to do here is to group this selection. What this block is going to do is to join these 4 shapes and make it into one. So if we run the play now, you will notice that the pieces have now joined. And if I look, it has created that hole on the inside for me. And you can see the shape that has been created, which is exactly what we're looking for. Our next step is we're going to add some decoration to the outside of our fidget spinner. And we're going to do this using iteration or looping. Bring across a count width. I'm just going to change the I here to be pattern so I know what I'm talking about. And our pattern is going to be creating a bit of a, I guess, a small hole on the outside, a repeated pattern around there. Helps give some grip to the fidget spinner when you're trying to spin it. Makes it look really cool as well. So on the outside, each of the shapes are going to be a rectangular cutout. So we're going to put in the cube blocks. Once again, we're acknowledging that this is a hole. So we're going to select from the hole. Now, holes are going to be 3 wide. They're going to be 3 long, and they're going to be 20 high, which we already are. It's going to have 1 edge and 10 steps. Now, at the moment, this isn't actually going to do much for us because we have not told it what position to go to. So add in a move block. X remains at 0. Y is going to be minus 12. And Z is going to be 15. Now, if you were to run that program now and to watch it take place, we're going to see that hole start to build there, which is great. That's exactly what we want. But all of them have fit into the same place. We want that repeating pattern to go around the outside. To do this, we're going to rotate around the Z axis. Now, we've got to be really specific what that rotation is going to be. This is where we jump into a bit of math. So if you go to your math blocks, we're going to drag across this one where we can put 2 numbers on the outside. It's currently got a plus button. We are going to take 36 and multiply it by the pattern that we've created. And our positioning is the XYZ. So now if we go and click play, you will notice that those will start to pivot around the outside of your fidget spinner, creating your design. Now, you are more than welcome to go and adapt and play with those different measurements and create your own style. Completely up to you. It's really fun to be able to play with some of the numbers and notice the changes to really get an understanding of how those blocks work. Finally, we are going to add in a group selection there, so that actually locks those into place as one piece. The final task is to build the piece on the inside. So this is going to be the inverse of the hollow that we've already created. Let's start by getting a cone. It is a solid shape, so we're going to leave it there. If you remember, the cone that we cut out had a radius of 6 and 10. We need this to be just a little bit smaller, so our bottom radius is going to be 5. Oh, sorry, the top radius is 5. The bottom radius is 9. We will continue with the height of 12, and we will also have 64 sides, exactly the same. Let's put that into a position, so it's going to move to 0, 0, and 6. We're going to add in that cylinder to join, that will join the 2 cones together, remembering it is a solid shape. Before our radius was 6, we need to make it a little bit smaller so it can move. So we're going to have a radius of 5. Our height will remain as 5. Our sides are 64, and everything else remains the same. And then if we move it into position with the Z axis at 14. The final shape that we're adding in is that inverted cone on the top. It is a solid. So our cone, remember, is the inverse of this one. So the top radius is 9. The bottom radius is 5. The height is 12. And the sides are 64. Just makes a really nice smooth cone. Put in our placement on the Z axis at 22. Now, again, we want to group these 3 shapes together. So let's add in a group selection. If we run that program now, you are going to see it build the outside shape. It's going to go through those 10 iterations of putting in the outside little cutouts, and then we can watch it as it builds the inside cone, and we have got our inside piece of the fidget spinner. You can see it's just a little bit smaller than the hole on the inside. Final piece of personalization, completely up to you if you choose to add this in, is to add some text on the top. This is great, so it helps personalize, and we also know whose fidget spinner belongs to who. So we're going to add in a text button. This one is going to be a hollow. We're going to cut it out of the top part of the fidget spinner. So let's expand this out. Here is where you're going to put your text. Because it's so small, you kind of only want 3 to 4 at the most letters that fit into that space. You can choose one of the 4 different types of font that there are to choose from. The height we're going to change to 5. And our job now is to be able to position it, but to also scale it to the shape. So from the modify menu, let's grab a positioning button. We want Z to be at 29 because it's up the very top of our shape. Now we're going to drag across the scale. Our scale for X is 0.3. Our scale for Y, 0.3. And Z is 1 from the center. Finally, group that selection together so it becomes one shape. And as you run it for the final time, you will be able to see your fidget spinner come into fruition. And hopefully you've done a really great job in building that really cool fidget spinner. Let's watch it build. There comes my text, and it's cementing it in place as a hole. Oh, there we go. It's popped it in. It's now a hole on the top. Awesome. That's it for our fidget spinner, guys. We have created a great little tool. It takes about 10 grams of filament and about 20 to 25 minutes to print in place. So it's a really lovely one to be able to do. Thank you for joining our fidget spinner project. I hope you had some fun in creating it. Take some time to really personalize it. So think about those edges around the outside of it. Think about your text on the top. You might even put some text on the bottom. Come up with a way to really personalize it and make it yours. You can always scale it to be bigger. You can scale it to be smaller, which would be really interesting. Just remember, it doesn't really matter what colors you put into your program here because you select that with your 3D printer as you're printing. The color choices do help you to see your different elements as you go though. So thanks for joining us. I can't wait to see what it is that you create. I look forward to being able to print out some of those fidget spinners for our clubs. Make sure your leader reaches out so we can print them. Have a great time, and I will see you for the next code along. Happy coding, everyone.